Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Saturday, May 7th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I'm speechless here because I don't know who this guy is to the left of me here. I guess it's Josh Crash Davis without the lid, which is a smart reminder to not side bet Coach.
Lesson learned for sure.
Lesson learned, but you know what? It's good. Everybody's going to enjoy it. The new look, and maybe this will go. You'll go undefeated, have a giant takedown, and then you'll never wear a hat again.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Well, we're here to discuss the 2-game NBA slate. There's a 3:30 game and then an 8:30 game this evening. So we'll go over both, break them down a bit, get you set up to get ready for the big NBA action today. Some great contests, a lot of big prize pools. So good stuff there. And I'd like to thank Prizepicks, who is the presenting sponsor of this podcast. Go to prizepicks.com. First-time depositors sign up by using the promo code CoachTalk, and they will match you dollar for dollar on that first $100 deposit. So you cannot beat that. All right, my friend. As we know, both of these series are tied up 1-1. That was part of the reason you are dome showing there. Is I felt Memphis would bounce back and Boston would step up. So massively important game threes. The venue switches now. So we'll see how it goes. We're playing in Milwaukee and Golden State. So very interesting matchups today. The first game is Boston and Milwaukee. And it is a big spread difference between the two games and big total difference. For the Milwaukee game, they're favored by 1.5. The total is only 213. Whereas in the Memphis Warriors game, the Golden State's favored by 7, and it's a 225.5 total. So 12.5 points, bigger total for the second game. Definitely gets my attention, and we'll go through that as we're going here. So
for sure.
Boston, Milwaukee, again, Milwaukee by 1.5, 213 total, 105.75 implied for Boston, 107.25 implied for the Milwaukee Bucks. Marcus Smart, probable. We expect him to play. The return of veteran guard George Hill, also expected today. He is probable. We know Chris Middleton remains out for Milwaukee. So pretty much know where we're at with this one as far as what to expect. We've seen these matchups develop. And what do you think, number one wise, I guess, for Milwaukee? What do you think the strategy change, or what do you think the approach is going to be after they got it handed to them a little bit this last game?
You know, it's going to be interesting to me because Bud's not usually one to make like drastic changes. So I think he'll make a couple subtle changes, but I don't think it's going to be anything like drastically different. I do know for sure they're going to have to defend better against the three. I mean, that's obvious. They can't let them shoot, 40% or whatever they were, 45%
right,
three again, and stay in this series. So they're definitely going to have to step up their perimeter defense. I think they're going to focus a little bit on Jaylen Brown, try to slow him down some. They did a lot better job of, in doing that in game one. So we'll see what they do. But I definitely think defending the three is going to be a big part of their strategy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's been their Achilles heel all season. They have given up a ton of threes this year. And the bottom line is if Boston's making them, that's where the trouble comes in. And like you say, 20 for 43, you drain 23s on somebody as opposed to Milwaukee made 3.
Yeah, so, that's like what, plus 51 in threes, points.
I mean, you can't make that up, that up. There's just no way.
There's no way. So they won't, I don't think Boston will shoot that well from three, and I don't think Milwaukee will shoot that poorly from three at home. So I think that'll be a big part of it. But the other thing I think that they'll do is they'll, in game one, I think they attacked it the right way. Giannis was more of a facilitator, and I think that in game two, that'll be kind of more their strategy again to get those other guys involved. Role players usually play better at home, so I think that Connaughton and Allen and Portis and Brook Lopez, he hasn't really gotten going offensively. I think he'll have a better game too offensively. So.
Yeah, and there's no secret with Boston. I mean, Tatum and Brown are the guys. They got up 38 total shots, 20 of them were threes, and they shot the ball well, over 50% from the field and from three. So that's where they're going to have to start. The big surprise, I guess, last game for Boston was Grant Williams, though.
Yeah,
that came out of nowhere.
Yeah. 33 Draftkings points in game two.
So. Yeah, 7 for 14 from the field, 6 threes for Grant Williams.
6 threes, yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
And he got 35 and a half minutes to boot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big question here strategically. If we break Boston down at first here, obviously Tatum and Brown, it's hard not to go with one of those two because they just dominate offensively. My question to you, though, is what about this mixture now of Al Horford, Robert Williams III, Grant Williams, being the three big guys? Do they get interest for you or?
I think in DraftKings, I think Horford at 5,900. I think that's a good price. I mean, he's been the better of the two, especially offensively. So but I mean, Williams is cheaper, so. It's hard to say, but they're both going to be on the floor a lot to defend Giannis. So I think that they're both in play.
And I haven't read anything specific to a minutes cap for Robert Williams, but it seems as though they're keeping him to 25 minutes. That just seems to be a soft cap on him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, interesting because if he's going to get 30 minutes, I'm very interested in Robert Williams.
Yeah.
But the concern is if he goes back to that, 2022, it becomes a little bit tougher.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking here to see. Yeah, Horford's been getting almost 40 minutes a game. So that's a lot of usage.
It is. The other big shift here, too, is Marcus Smart missed that last game.
Right.
And
he'll be back, so that'll
he's back. And Derek White was abysmal, so forget about him, man. He won't see the floor much. I don't think the way he played. I think the better backup guard, to be honest with you, may be Peyton Pritchard. He at least tries to make things happen,
Right. Yeah, I do agree with that too.
So the focus for me is going to be obviously making a decision between Tatum and Brown, and that's a big commitment dollars-wise. And then, is Grant Williams a trap, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, kind of like Robert Williams and Al Horford, I think that he's going to be on the floor too because he was really good in his one-on-one defense against Giannis. So
right.
I think that he's going to get some minutes. Will he get as many minutes with Marcus Smart back in the lineup and all that? Probably not, but I think he could end up being an X factor in this series. So.
Yeah, because finding value is the key because we all know the studs in these two games, but finding that value is the key. And, really your choices are pretty minimal from the Boston side I would think, with Grant Williams and Peyton Pritchard. And Robert Williams isn't that expensive either. So maybe making one of those decisions is going to be key.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip over to, I'll just let you run with it because you are the Milwaukee Bucks expert. Give us a little lowdown on the hoedown here with the Bucks.
Well, in game two, Giannis's first half is probably the worst I've seen him play in 3 years. I mean, he was just absolutely abysmal. I mean, he was, I think, 1 for 11 in the first half.
Right.
Then and then in the second half, it was almost like I almost said it was another game because that's what it was like. It was a
Yeah.
completely different half. 23 points in the second half. He hasn't had that monster game yet, but I think it's coming, and I think it's probably coming today.
Okay.
Unless they just, double and triple team him again and he gets a bunch of assists like he did game one. But I'm waiting for him to have that monster game, and I just feel like it's a matter of time before it happens. So
Yeah, and he got 27 shots up in that game in 37 minutes. So it's
right,
it's not like they're not going to him. 9 rebounds, 7 assists. It's amazing with guys like Giannis and Luca and the Joker and these guys. It's like if they don't get a 40-point triple double anymore, we're not
you're
satisfied.
disappointed. I know. That's
It's
hilarious
wild.
to me. Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think he's the logical pay up. There's lots of ways you could go, but it's similar to how I felt about Luka yesterday. I sort of feel the same way with Giannis. I mean, it's so hard to make up those raw points,
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I don't want to chase. I don't want to chase those points with him or Ja Morant, which we'll talk about later. But
yeah,
yeah, and it's a little bit different because you don't have, just one guy like you did last night that you're thinking that's going to do that. So
right,
I lean more towards Giannis though at home. I think
right,
that he's going to be more likely to have that monster game than Moran on the road in Golden State. I mean, I feel like
yeah,
they're so good defensively. You would think they're going to do something to slow him down. So the Celtics have been doing a good job of slowing Giannis down, and they still haven't really slowed him down. So I
right,
really expect a big game from him. Drew Holiday is going to be solid. I think he's going to get you about the same production every game, basically, 35, 40, maybe even 50 fantasy points,
yeah.
depending on the game. Because without Middleton, that usage just goes so much of it goes to him and Giannis. So
Oh, no doubt. I mean,
I
they
go
took
ahead.
47 of the 73 shots,
Yeah.
so and
Yeah.
that's in a game they were trailing. So
Right.
that
Right.
tells you how dominant those two guys are.
Exactly. And we saw what Holiday did in game one. So I think that's probably like a ceiling for him. And then, what he did in game two is more of a floor game for him. But the other role players, for Milwaukee, though, I like. Portis has been solid in both games, putting up similar numbers in both games. Like I said, Lopez has been very good defensively. And, he's been getting like 20, 25 fantasy points, something like that. He hasn't really been doing anything offensively. And I think that's going to change. I expect him to hit a couple threes today and maybe get a couple buckets in the paint. So I think that he's going to have more of like a Maxi Kleba type game tonight.
Okay.
So
Yeah, only 2 shots up in that entire game in 25 minutes, so that's a little scary.
and then
No
Allen and
doubt.
Connaughton are still in play too. But I mean, you're only going to play so many guys. So I just have a
Yeah,
feeling that this is going to be a breakout game for Brook Lopez. So
okay. I mean, any other value for Milwaukee? Because I just, I
it's
went with
tough.
Connaughton 6 for 7 from the field is great, but just
Mm-hmm.
no other stats at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Javon Carter's getting a decent run now.
Yeah, but
Grayson
George
Allen was a
Hill's
real
back.
popular play, but
Yeah, George Hill's back, so that's going to cut into Carter's minutes.
yeah, I think it'll almost eliminate Carter's minutes personally.
Yeah, it probably will. Bud seems to go away from him unless he's like the only option as a backup. So
Yeah.
yeah, Carter will probably be cut down quite a bit. Yeah, so I guess, as far as value, I mean, Lopez is below 5K, so that's somewhat a value play. I would lean more towards Grayson Allen over Connaughton in this game.
Okay.
Feeling he's going to be the better play. And that's probably about it.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about their bench in this one, but I do
Yeah,
like their key guys. It's just the salary is going to be rough, even
right.
though it's only 2 games.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's move on to game 2. We got a big 5-hour span between the 2 games, which is different.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
8:30 p.m. Eastern is the second game. Memphis and Golden State. Golden State by 7. 225.5 total, 109.25 implied for the Grizz, 116.25 for the Golden State Warriors. Injury-wise, I know you've been dying for this information. Sante Aldama is questionable. So lock him in. No, he is questionable, so good for him. Dylan Brooks, we know, is suspended for his breaking of Mr. Payton's wrist.
Yeah.
That shot. So he's out, which hurts them for sure. And Tilly remains out. And then Golden State, the aforementioned Mr. Payton, is out, and so is Iguodala. So, a couple of guys, rotational guys, starter and Brooks, could certainly affect things in this game. The big question will be, where do you go? I mean, we're talking about Giannis, and I'm talking about either Brown or Tatum. I mean, the dollars have to go somewhere. Again, this game is 12.5 points higher of a spread or a total. And, Golden State being a 7-point favorite is quite a few points. I think the Grizz can hang a little bit closer than that, but losing Brooks definitely hurts though, because he's such a gritty defender and just, plays hard. So we'll see. I mean, that's the key is, so, if you have to spend up here, I know you like Ja much better than Curry, I would assume, correct?
Yeah. Just for his peripherals. I mean, I think they'll probably score about the same amount of real points, but for peripherals, I prefer Morant. Although Curry did do a decent job. He had 9 rebounds and 8 assists in game 2. So
he did. Yeah, he came through, and this is a hard one. I'll tell you though, Ja, what a game from Ja. My goodness.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. 68 and 76 DraftKings points so far in 2 games.
That's just nuts. I mean, how do you fade that? That's the problem.
You
So is everybody going to have Giannis and Ja and then just try to figure it out
Probably.
from there?
That's probably going to be what most people have, I would think. Yeah. But I just feel like there's some way that Golden State's going to have to slow him down. So,
I mean, I'm, as much as I don't want to do it, I may not play Ja in my key cash lineup, and it could be suicide as far as, like you said, the points that he's putting up, DFS wise makes it seem impossible to fade. But Golden State had the number 1 defense. They edged out Boston at the end of the year. They were number 1 for a good portion of the year. And like you said, Steve Kerr's a great coach. They have some guys that can defend. They've got to try something, different, because especially with Brooks out, who takes the initiative offensively when Ja gets doubled. I mean, I just don't know how you don't try to blitz and just really bother Ja. I mean, the dude is like 6'3", 145. He's tiny. You would think you'd just be able to stick Wiggins on and body him and have, Draymond come over, double, make Jaren Jackson or Xavier Tillman or Brandon Clark or Zaire Williams. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out the coaching strategy from Kerr, and I assume that they're going to, I think they give Ja trouble.
Yeah, I do too, and especially considering that Desmond Bane, who's been their second best player, hasn't done crap in this series so far. I mean, he's been terrible.
He's been bad.
Yeah.
He's my key play, though. I'm going with Bane.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of guts. 6'4" is a fair price, too.
Especially with Brooks out. I mean, he's got to step up.
Well, you can statistically look at it throughout the year. The person affected dramatically the most when Brooks is in or out, it's Bane. It just dives. All that usage is either taken from Bane or given to Bane when Brooks is in or out. So I think Bane steps up and has a really good game here. And, the question is, where do you go from there? Because Jackson is hard to trust with his foul trouble. You have the Clark, who's had a really nice series. He's the most sensible guy. Do you go
Adams is back now. Steven Adams is back now, so that's going to take away from both of those guys.
That's right. But, the question is, how much does he play? And can you really afford to have him on the floor? That's my question, is because, Golden State's has been going small with Draymond at center.
Right.
And I just don't know if that's going to be conducive to Adams being on the floor. What do you have Adams for minutes played here? Any guesstimates?
I mean, 15, probably.
That's exactly what I have, 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But the other thing is with Jackson and Clark, I mean, Draymond hasn't even played a full game yet. He got ejected in the first game, then he got hit in the face in the second game.
Yeah.
So he's yet to play decent minutes. So that's going to slow Clark and Jackson down dramatically when he's out there. So
I would think so. What about going a little cheaper? DeAnthony Melton, he showed up.
Yep. I think DeAnthony Melton's a good play. He's continued to see more minutes than Tyus Jones. So
right.
Which is like the complete opposite of the last series.
I know. It makes no sense. It's all matchup dependent, I guess. But Melton's 4.3, Jones is 3.6. And what about Zaire Williams?
Yeah, it's 3,200 on DraftKings. I mean, I feel like you have to play him over there. He's 47 on FanDuel, so it's not a must for me. But
yeah. The problem is a lot of people are going to go to him for value because he's starting in Brooks' spot more than likely. And I don't know. I've seen him have some nice games, but there are games where he's just non-existent. And, they sub in like Kyle Anderson or Melton or something, and he doesn't get a whole lot of extra minutes. Kyle Anderson's a little bit of a wild card here. He's only 3.5, and when Brooks is out, Anderson gets more minutes. There's no question about it.
I can see that. The other thing about Williams is, he's a real high energy guy, and he's going to be playing. He's not going to be playing at home now, so I think that's going to affect him too.
Right.
He feeds off that crowd in Memphis. So,
and he's a youngster too, so he doesn't have the experience. So it's a mixed bag. I mean, the big call is, do you go with Jar or not? I think Bane's a great play. And then finding some, this might be the spot to grab the value is with the Grizz.
Yeah, I like the Kyle Anderson call because he's, like you said, more of a veteran than Zaire Williams, and Williams is the natural play for most people. Oh, Brooks is out, I'm going to play him. So
could be a good leverage play with either Melton or Anderson, really.
Yeah.
What about the Golden State side? So Curry, we know, if you don't go with Morant, you save 1,000, 1,100 and go with Curry possibly.
Yeah.
And then
I like Curry.
What about the rest?
Jordan Poole, he's been the better player than Thompson, and they're about the same price, especially on DraftKings. So I lean more towards Poole actually than Thompson. Clay's just been scoring. I mean, he's not doing anything else, and he's not even scoring that much. So, which he's being affected by Bane, I believe, right? Defensively.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So, I really think Curry, Poole, and Draymond are my three guys I like for Golden State. Like I said, Draymond hasn't got a full game yet, in either one of these. So I think that he's going to have, as I mentioned earlier last week, he's averaged about 40 DraftKings points against Memphis this year, and we haven't seen anything near that just because his minutes have been limited.
Yeah.
So I definitely like Draymond. I think Jonathan Kuminga could be a decent value play with Gary Payton second out. He's also missed in the last game. He's only 31 on DraftKings. I like him better than Zaire Williams if we're talking about that value. So.
Yeah, you hit on my secret squirrel today is Jonathan Kuminga. I think, like you said, he's the one that will grab those minutes, and he can do a lot with those minutes. Rebound, score. He'll get some fouls, and he's a youngster, but 3-1 does let a lot of stuff work, and I think he's the biggest beneficiary. Either him or Porter. But I like him as far as, with Peyton out of the rotation now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think Kuminga is the much better option at value.
And I agree with you on Draymond as well, Crash. But, he stung me these last two games. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, you're going to be choosing between Draymond, Horford, Robert Williams, Portis, one of those
There's
guys.
a bunch of pivots in that price range for sure. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. Lot of different ways you can go here, but we're going to do two things. We're going to do our prize pick selections, and then we're going to put a two brains are better than one lineup together for FanDuel, since we basically can see Crash's brain today. So we're going to go ahead and tap into that losing bet there and build from there. So do you have a prize picks play ready?
Yeah, I've got two. Actually, let me check something because I was going to see if they had this.
I always like to update it too because they change the numbers, they add guys. There's lots of stuff moving targets here.
Yeah. Yeah, I still don't have the fantasy score unless I'm not seeing it.
The fantasy score is not up yet. They've been waiting longer on that. I think they've been getting stung on it a little bit because they can't just pull those lines right from the books.
Right.
They have to put that little twist in there. So
let's see.
I've got to play.
Oh, that looks pretty good.
I'm going to take PRA Desmond Bain 23.5 over.
Okay.
I really like Desmond Bain with Brooks out. I think he steps up, and he's been so good this year.
Yeah, I like that play. I'm going to go. I'm trying to decide which one I want to use. I'm going to use this one because the other one I was going to use, I think, will be a lot more commonly used.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Drew Holiday over 2.5 free throws. He made 4 in game 2 and 6 in game 1. So I think he'll definitely come out aggressive and draw some fouls. So I'm going to take the over on 2.5 free throws for Holiday.
I like it. I think that makes perfect sense. I'm looking for one other thing here. Yeah, they may add some to this list, but right now there are some things that I was expecting to see here that aren't there. I'm going to take over 1.5 blocks and steals Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
His defense is tough, and I think he has a propensity to get 3 or 4 stocks today. So I feel comfortable with that play.
Yeah, it looks like he's gone over that number in 4 of his last 5 games.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to take the under on rebounds for Jason Tatum. He had 6 in game 1 and 3 in game 2. It's at 6 rebounds.
Okay.
And there's so many bigs in this series that I just think it's really tough for him to get over 6 rebounds.
I like it. All right. We are turning our attention over to FanDuel for two brains are better than one. And if you'd like to get involved with us at Coach Talk, it's dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for as little as a 3-day pass for $10. And you'll see all of our picks. We give out all kinds of information, cores. We give out full lineups, and we cover everything. We covered DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, Prize Picks. We've got you covered. So very excited to have people get involved with us. If you want to check us out on Twitter, we're at DFS Coach Talk. And if you want to check out Mr. Sharp-looking dome dude here, it's JP Davis 1982. I got to let the dog out here. Hold on one second. He's going to bug me. Here we go. And by the way, I have my full gear on today. I got the shirt. I got the
nice
shorts. I mean, I got and a hat. That's it. in tune here. So yeah, and I am at Joe Sarvati. So there you go. There's our way you can grab us on Twitter. My first pick, Giannis, 11 grand, small forward.
Small forward. Okay. All right. And I will take, let's see. Oh, I'm gonna go with the guy I was talking about with center. I'm gonna go with Brooke.
Oh, that's painful to my gut.
Yeah.
That's okay. I accept it. It hurts, but I accept it.
This is a GPP, so he'll probably be lower owned, I think.
Desmond Bain, shooting guard, underpriced at 5,800.
Yeah, that's definitely underpriced.
That's too cheap, especially with Brooks out.
Yeah. I'll take Kuminga at 39, is he? Yeah, 3,900, small forward.
Okay. Let's see. We have 6,800 per person left, which is still good money. It allows. I'm going to just go ahead and stick with my strategy. I'm not going Ja. I'm going to go Steph Curry. He's $1,300 cheaper. And I just feel like Kerr's going to do something to slow Morant down. They have to.
Yeah, they have to. I'm going to take Poole, 7,000 shooting guard.
Okay.
Or point guard, I guess.
Point guard, that's fine.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, 6,500 power forward. The third time's a charm. If he stings me 3 games in a row, I'm going to have an absolute fit.
Yeah, you would think he would come through one of these times. I will take. I don't think he's a trap. I think he's going to get solid minutes. I'm going to take Grant Williams at power forward, 45.
Grant Williams? All right. That leaves me $6,800 for a shooting guard. That allows us to look at Marcus Smart, Klay Thompson being the top 2 candidates there. Smart coming off the thigh injury. We already have Curry and Poole. So I'm going to go with Marcus Smart because he has to play big minutes. He'll be fine. And we saw what a terrible job his backup did in White. So,
yeah.
So that would be it. That would be, unless we have 500 left, which is fine. That's a good amount to have left in a 2-game slate. Curry, Poole, Bain, Smart, Giannis, Kuminga, Draymond, Grant Williams, and Brooke Lopez. Brooke needs to have at least, if he doesn't have at least 28 fantasy points, I'm going to be mad. And that's still not really going to get there, but I'll take it.
He's going to have 32.
What's his prize picks number?
I don't even know. I haven't. Well, it's not up, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Stupid fantasy score up. That's one of the things I was looking at was what his fantasy score was going to be at. I'm going to say he's going to have 32 though, Coach.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I won't bet you on it because I don't want you to have
you want to be without your hat next time.
I don't want you to have this second cranium type scenario, but I appreciate you paying off your bet. That's awesome. Back in the day, like a year ago, Andrew, we did a shirtless and Andrew lost. He had to do a podcast shirtless. So it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. Oh,
no doubt. Well, cool, man. That is it. I mean, that gives us a good look at this slate. Hopefully you can build some stuff from there. If you want to get all of our information in Discord, definitely check us out, dfscoachtalk.com. On the way out on YouTube here, a quick thumbs up. That's really greatly appreciated. Hit the subscribe button, and up in that corner, hit the little alert so you know when any of our podcasts post. We're 7 days a week with MLB and NBA, once a week with PGA. And we've got all kinds of action going here. So Very, very good stuff. If you also are watching the Kentucky Derby, I watch that every year. I'll be posting hopefully the top 3 finishers predictions in our Discord. So that is it, my friend. Any final words? I think that it's time to go wax that sucker a little bit, get the little, cloth out. You'll be all set.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I wanted to say, congrats to your Mavericks last night. Big win for Dallas.
Massive win.
Yeah. The other thing, happy Mother's Day to all the great moms out there. Thank you for all you do. And happy Mother's Day to my wife too, obviously. So my mom, so yeah. And happy birthday to my sister too. Her birthday's today. So
oh wow, you got the whole family thing going. Well,
yeah.
I second that. And speaking of great moms, we have Deb coming on with me tonight. We're going to do the podcast for tomorrow. So
okay, cool.
We'll be posting that tonight. I know Deb's terrified now that they lost a game.
Right.
I heard she was crying and all shriveled up, scared and worried about the Mavs winning this series. So hopefully she's calmed down and we can do the podcast tonight for tomorrow's card. So we'll see how that goes.
I will say, I think it's going to be 2-2 going back to Phoenix. We'll see.
I hope so.
I think it will be. I do.
I hope so. I'm with you. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining in, and catch that Mother's Day pod. What's the baseball pod situation tomorrow, Crash?
It's up to you. I mean, I'll either run it myself or you can jump on with me.
Okay.
We'll do it early in the morning, or actually, I don't know, because I'm supposed to play at the church tomorrow. So.
I know, that's what I figured. You might be doing the drums tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. What time are you doing your podcast tonight?
11 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. Maybe we can do it before then.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. We could post them both early. The only thing we'll have to watch on is weather with baseball, but tune in. We'll make sure we have pods up for both one way or the other.
Yeah.
And again, appreciate everybody tuning in, and certainly you'll be able to catch both our basketball and baseball info for Sunday. Those will be up. All right. Thanks, Crash. Enjoyed it. I got to go take some Advil from the glare. It got to me over all this time. But, what's funny is underneath this hat, I've got a beautiful head of hair, but we're not going to share that right now. All right. Have a great day, Crash. Let's take some stuff down, and same thing to all of our listeners out there. Have a good one, and we'll be back again tomorrow when we look to crush it in MLB, Prize Picks, and DFS.